Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the studio. Who's sitting at your table? Tony Medeiros, and we got Sue here in the studio today. How are you doing, Sue?
How are you doing?
Good, good, good. So, I just wanted to let you guys all know today we have something really good that we're going to be talking about. Back, Sue and I were talking about, how we're built differently, right? The Gen X survivor, essentially. We survived it, we thrived it, and now we're owning the room. But before we get started, let's just catch up. How was your day today, Sue?
So I did something. I didn't even know what I was doing. So I guess the upside to social media marketing is something pops up in your feed. Oh, that looks cool. I've been wanting to do a massage and hadn't done one in a while. And I like to do them regularly. And this company popped up in my feed. I'd never heard of it. It's in town here. And I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called The Talks.
Okay. Never heard of it though. I can see the flyer.
Yeah, no, the funny thing is their colors are all black. Like you walk in, everything's black and white. And I had black top and black pants. I'm like, oh, I fit right in here.
Fit right in.
Yeah. Uh,
Dress for success, like your hat says.
this. And so I didn't know what it was. It looked like a massage, but it was also mentioned lymphatic. So I haven't done a lymphatic massage in a while. And so I thought, like since California days. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try this out. I called up. They had an appointment this afternoon, planned an hour one. It's called the Master Talk. And so basically now, long story short, they did this lymphatic massage plus some equipment. And I'm detoxing now for the next 3 days. So I have to drink a lot of water. So I'm
Water. Uh-huh.
the
Well,
water.
tell me more about lymphatic massage. I don't think I've ever had one.
So I had them different years ago. And so the only reason I really am excited about this, to be perfectly honest, is that I feel I still have some bloat in my midsection and I shouldn't be there. The other thing doctors don't tell you post hysterectomy is that yes, you can have lymphatic fluid in your body still that has not come out. So who knew, right?
Is this
So
something from hormones or do you know?
it can be, but from my surgery, from the trauma, my surgery, from not working out. So basically 9 weeks, because I was on vacation too. So combination. And the gal, because they massage your stomach. So she was pushing hard. And at the end of it, she said, you have fluid built up. I'm like, oh, really? Tell me more about that. She's like, yeah, it's probably from your surgery. So I signed up. I bought a package of three. So I'll go every other week. And the combination of doing three of these in a row, plus I have to stay away from spicy food, which I love spicy food. It says to limit the alcohol. I'll limit it. I'll still drink my champagne. And then no dairy stuff. And I was eating yogurt. So I stopped eating yogurt. You know what? Something's not right. And so, of course, I asked Chat when I came home, is this true? Is there lymphatic fluid built up inside me? And it said, absolutely. It can be from your surgery. And I had no idea what it was. It popped up today and I went and I'm so happy I went because I learned some more stuff and I hope to God this works. Oh, she asked if I do the castor oil. I said, yeah, I put it in my belly button with a little patch thing over it. She goes, no, no, do the whole stomach. So I'm going to start doing the whole stomach at night. She said that should help.
What is it? You said a patch?
Well, the castor oil. So you
Oh,
put,
castor oil.
well, yeah, I put it in my belly button every night and I bought these little covers so it doesn't leak over. But they have, so it's easy to do.
I'm sorry to laugh, but that's funny.
Put it in your belly button and like
Yeah,
it would get on my pajamas or whatever. So,
yeah,
or
yeah. And you want it to stay there and absorb, right? So yeah, makes
so
sense.
I do have a castor, like a pack that like you put it on and then you wrap it around your stomach.
Wow.
I'm gonna start
Where'd you get that? At
uh
Amazon?
Amazon.
Oh, cool. I think I've seen something on castor oil now that you're
Yeah.
talking about it now. Yeah.
So I'll do that. So I'm pretty excited. I have an appointment to go in 2 weeks again. A gal Zoe, she's super cute, 21, darling. So she knew by touching my stomach and massaging and doing the work. She's like, no, you have fluid in there. I knew this is where I'm a freak. Like it's a blessing and a curse because I know my body so well. I know there's something off. I just knew it's off. I didn't know what it was. And now just by
Well,
dumb
I mean,
luck,
it's your body. You know it, right? You know when there's
not
difference.
everyone knows, not everyone is as in tuned with their body as I am. I'm at the like freakish level. And so I'm just happy now that I now know what it is. It might take a few weeks to where I'll be better, but I'm looking forward to that journey. So that's what I did today. So what do you have going on with them?
I today
Yeah.
to work, of course, right? I work from home. I work in tech, and we had some great conversations with partners. I just love my job. Um, Something funny kind of happened today. It's neighborhood drama, you know. You always have that person who's nosy, gets involved in everything you do. So I put a bird feeder out. I live in an HOA setting, and I like to feed the squirrels and the freaking the birds. Come on, nature.
Wait, do the squirrels eat the bird food?
Well, I'll put some nuts out on the tree and stuff, and you know, around the tree. But for the most part, it's a bird feeder, and I have this one neighbor that just is obsessed with it and just cannot stand that I do it. So
Karen named Karen.
the funny thing is, yeah, totally. And the funny thing is she complained about it, but she couldn't do anything about it because the HOA line to the tree that I'm setting it on is not the property of the HOA. So I win. The eye rolls. It's like, come on, get over it. Get over it.
Is she older?
Yeah, she's about my age. I love women, but come on, don't be a hater. Don't be a hater to the animals. I bring it in at night so the rats can't get at it.
So I didn't even think about that because I hung a bird feeder out in my backyard for the first time. And do you know what those little house and fill two sides with the loose food, and then two sides have like those bars? Have you? Well, I don't think the birds are eating the bars. It looks like they might
Squirrels
be.
are probably.
Yeah, but okay. So should I bring it in? Because does that will I attract rats in my backyard?
Girl, you have rats in your backyard whether you like it or not, whether you bring that thing in or out.
Okay, because I know we have them.
Yeah,
I've seen
they're
them.
just around. You're just not going to get rid of the rats, right? It's when you have an infestation, then you have to worry about it. It's not an infestation. Rats are, I'm
Oh, no, I
sorry.
see them. I've caught them in
Yeah,
traps before. It's
yeah, yeah.
disgusting. Yeah,
As
it's
long
gross.
as they're not coming in your house or whatever, right? But
My
no,
house is
I
sealed.
started doing it when COVID happened. I had fun with the animals and the birds and the squirrels. They'd come up my porch. I just enjoyed it, because we were all trapped in our house, right? I wanted some sort of entertainment. Well, after that, we just I love you, my neighbor. Come on, let's move on. Quit being a hater. Quit being a hater. So that's kind of a neighborhood drama. Sorry to bring everybody into the neighborhood drama, but
Everyone loves to hear neighborhood drama. Right now, I don't have anything. Goodness, I love all my neighbors except for the new ones that took over for my friend John and Allie. I don't like them too much. So, but I don't know them. They weren't that friendly. I miss my friend.
so yeah, so the whole bird drama, don't hate the buds, don't hate the birds and the squirrels.
That's right. He survived growing up with no seatbelts, among many other things.
Well, we were raised on resilience, our generation, right? Talk about how the Gen X women or Gen X in general, how we were raised, right? The latchkey life, living at home, cooking our own food, you know.
We're working and we come
Yeah.
home to an empty house, which is that even legal now? I don't even know what the laws are, right? Don't people get in trouble for that shit?
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's different. Like, I mean, of course, I don't know how old do you remember when your mom went to work and your parents went to work and you were at home alone? How old do you recall being alone? At what
Well,
age?
so my parents got divorced when I was like 4. And I felt at the time the only child in the whole state of Connecticut that had a divorced family. So it wasn't super common. And then we moved towns when I was in second grade, actually, end of first grade. My mom was such a badass. She would drive me to the old neighborhood to let me finish out the school in first grade, 2, 3 times over. Yeah. So I was officially, in the new town in second grade. So what, 8, 7 years old? 7, because mom put herself through nursing school. So not only did I come home to an empty house, but at 5:30 in the morning, I had to go walk in the back in the pitch black behind all the condos and like get into my neighbor's house, wait for them to wake up and have breakfast with them as like a 7-year old while mom.
So your mom like had coordinated this with neighbors and they knew.
Yeah, they were my friends. They were my
Yeah.
dear friends. So I was friends with Kristen and Asa. Later on, they had little baby Ian, but they were like, Kristen was my best friend. She was a year older. Asa was my brother's age. And so they did that for me. And I told my mom the other day how I was scared to death of it. And she's like, why didn't you ever tell me you were scared? I would have walked back there. I'm like, Mom, you didn't have time to walk me back. Like, I had to go drop my brother off. So she had to drive and drop my brother off
You toughed it
at my
out.
friend's
Yeah.
house. Yeah, but I hated it. I mean, I was scared shitless walking in the pitch black, 5:30 in the morning, waiting around for my friends to wake up. So I just sit there in the kitchen. I don't even know what I did.
That is hilarious. You would go there and just hang out at their
They
house.
don't be sleeping. And we
Oh,
had like
wow.
we lived in these little condos. And so I just remember sitting at their
What did you do? Did you like sleep on the couch or something until they woke up? Or what were you doing at that early in the morning by yourself?
honestly, I have no clue. I just remember sitting in their kitchen. They had a high top counter. Kitchens were small. And I sat in the kitchen and just twiddled my thumbs. I don't even know what I did. And I'd wait for them to wake up. So my mom was really strict with food as far as like try to keep it healthy. Sugar cereal, if she bought us a box, it was like once in a blue moon. And so we'd eat Cheerios, and they taught me to put sugar on the Cheerios. And I
Yeah.
came home and did that. My mom was like, "No, that's not happening in this house." Nice try.
Yeah, my dad did too. Like we would Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah.
He would throw a little sugar at the bottom with the milk and stir it in. I did not like a lot of milk. I don't like my cereal
No,
soggy. I put very little milk. In fact, I would probably, because I was not a milk drinker, I really hated it. But if I did, I would be a little bit of milk at the bottom, and then I would eat all the cereal. It'd mostly be
yeah,
dry and crunchy.
yeah.
That was my
Like
cereal, at least.
that's my mom will probably say this was short lived, but did your mom or parents ever make that milk? Like make it
Never
better?
the powder one. Oh my God.
I just want to gag right now. So
Yeah, no.
I
I
think
don't think
because
my mom ever did that, but I've seen it.
okay, I think we did it. And this is when and there's no joke. This is when she got divorced. I remembered first grade going to school and I had a special card that I got all my meals for free because my mom was on like low income whatever. Like she qualified for not being able to afford lunches. And I used to think it was the coolest thing. I had like a card that they punch and
Yes,
all
I remember that growing up. We had
yeah,
tokens. There were tokens
yeah, I had
that
a
you would
card.
get. Yeah, we were ours was like little tokens, and you got you got the discount plan or whatever, right?
Yeah, but it
My
was very subtle. Like it was on the DL, so the
Yeah,
kids
of course.
didn't know, or else
Yeah.
I would have probably been made fun of. And I just remembered, okay, this is cool. But I think that was probably the era that my mom was like making us milk. It sounds so disgusting. I have to ask her about it. It was just, I remember it would lump up. I think she would probably
And I
say
was
that
not really a big that would like I would be gagging because I didn't like milk, period.
it was so gross. It was so gross. How do you make milk from powder? Like, ew.
Yeah, yeah. I was a little as a little girl, I was a skinny little thing. I could be blown away
Same.
by the wind.
Yeah, same. What did your parents did you have to make your own food? If so, what
Well, yeah, so my dad was in the military, and so I didn't grow up latchkey lifestyle. I had a lot of friends that did. My mom was always kind of there. But we did learn, my parents were, you need to do things on your own kind of thing. So the things that we would cook would be like ramen. My mom's Japanese, so ramen was big, or cup of noodle, right? That's easy. Put hot water in there. Ramen's a little bit more, you have to cook on the stove. We would make a lot of sandwiches.
oh
One
yeah.
time my dad brought home a loaf of bread, and no lie, I made peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I ate that whole freaking entire loaf in one sitting. I had like a tapeworm in me or something, and my
In
dad
one sitting?
like I made well, the loaf of breads back then weren't very big. Wonder Bread, it was like maybe it's like you could make six sandwiches, like 12 slices, six sandwiches. I ate like six sandwiches by myself. I remember getting in trouble for that.
Because you ate it all. They're like, this is supposed to last us a week. What are you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah. It was me and Nancy, my older sister Nancy, and then Marsha was just a little baby. But yeah, I ate my parents at a house and home. I had a big appetite for sure.
For a little girl. Yeah,
Do
we
you remember Chef Boyardee? Do you remember
oh,
that at all? The
oh
spaghetti and
yeah.
the sauce in the box?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then we had pot pies. I used to love the pot
Yes,
pies.
yes, the pot pies or the TV dinners.
TV dinners. We used to make, especially in the summer when we would go up to the pool. Our condo association had a pool in the next one over. We would get Italian bread, slice it up, and we would do like Italian sandwiches, and we put Italian, like all the meats and cheeses, and then we would do like Italian dressing and some oregano. And oh my God, I still
That's
love a
yeah.
good Italian sandwich.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
One of the things I'd have to make for dinner, and I was so proud. I was able to make macaroni and cheese and cook some chicken tenders. That was my
Chicken tenders.
what I lived on.
The frozen ones.
Put them in the oven. That's the only thing I knew how to make because my mom was a really good cook. And so when we were older, we always had meals on the table. But there's but yeah, but she was cooked, so she's spoiled.
What was the meal called that's in a box that you would take hamburger,
Oh,
and then you
hamburger
could,
helper.
oh my God, that was like really popular too, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, oh
Shake and
yeah.
bake and hamburger helper.
Oh, yeah, we did the chicken bake. I remember my stepfather would make his own pasta sauce, and that would like cook felt like days on the stove, in a big pot. And then we would freeze it and be able to just like you could freeze it into blocks and then put it hot and melt it up. So we would
Yeah.
that was one of my favorites doing that.
I was
Yeah,
I'm a spaghetti and meatballs kind of girl. When it's pasta, I love spaghetti and meatballs. We kind of switch it up a little. In our era, we were taught to be tough, right? Don't cry, just deal with it kind of a
yeah.
mentality. Can you think back of a time in a situation where you were as a child, how you feel it's helped you in today's world?
I mean, yeah, I was a tomboy growing up, big time. And it's funny because I didn't realize it until my friend Stacy. I got together with her. We grew up together in the neighborhood. Although we were the same age, but she was a grade ahead of me. And she came out here to visit. So I went to visit her in South Carolina, and then she came out to visit me last year. And she just was cracking up. She's like, Sue, I can't believe it. And I said, what? She goes, how are you so girly? You were like the biggest tomboy in our entire neighborhood. If anyone needed anything done, they'd come to me, guys and girls. Oh, Sue will go take care of it. She'll go handle this. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of was. I mean, I was the strongest person on our bus. I won arm wrestling, the whole entire bus. But I think it just, made me tough and resilient and all in life because there comes a time in my early 20s, and this will be a whole nother episode, but it was one of those failures not an option. I'm going to survive. And so I think just being able to handle all the little ratty boys in the neighborhood, I would beat them up and just take care of myself,
I can relate to that. I can totally relate to that because so my maiden last name was Teeter. I was Tony Teeter, and the boys would call me Toady Teeter, the odor eater, and chase me around, right? And also, I think we talked about this before, but my mom's Japanese, and in that time, my skin color was a little different. And there was, there was some racism,
Yeah.
because I was not a white girl. And so I would get picked on a little bit on that, but I had to be tough. And, I was like a tomboy. I built forts with the boys. I played with cars and guns, and we skateboarded. My mom would tell me she would buy our clothes from the Sears catalog,
Yeah.
and I had patches all over my butt and my knees because
Oh,
I was climbing trees. I was skateboarding. My sister Nancy had Barbie, and I would rip Barbie's head off, or I'd cut her hair and draw all over her, and she would cry to my mom. My sister Nancy was older than me, but I was such a tomboy. I would make PJ beat up Barbie, and then she would steal Ken, and then also Ken would get beat up by GI Joe, and it's
to a
really
whole
bad.
nother you took it to a whole nother extreme because I actually had Barbies when I was little, and I didn't play with baby dolls. So my mom knew. She's like, not playing with baby dolls, but I played with Barbies. I had the penthouse, the Corvette. I had it all. And Barbie blammed out, but
The fish had it all.
I didn't rip the head off.
No, no, I did. And that whole Barbie show that came out, was it last year? That late Crazy Barbie? I created Crazy Barbie.
I love it. I could see you doing that. That's hysterical.
I was so bad. I was really bad, but I was definitely a tomboy.
Well, you had to be tough, right? Especially if kids are picking on you for maybe your skin color being a little different. I mean, you had to be tough and resilient.
Yeah. You totally have to. I looked different back then in the 60s and 70s. Think about it. My dad was in the military, so there were a lot of kids that looked more white than Asian, right? Half Asian. But, things have evolved since. But yeah, you had to be kind of tough and put up with that stuff. And there was a time when I was also in Hawaii, and that's a whole different because in Hawaii, if you were white, it was the reverse, right? In Hawaii, the white people, they called it Haole, meaning white.
Right.
And yeah, but it's, our generation, we had to be tough
But yeah,
for
no,
sure.
and I think it's helped in our older age here.
Yep. And then also think about it, no technology. We didn't have technology.
Well, I know, and I think it was nice in the sense that we were able to connect. Like you said, we were outside building forts, connecting, playing with our friends till our parents
Outside.
So the street lights came on, and we can communicate with people face to
And the
face.
commercial that came on at 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? Remember that?
Seriously, I mean, that's real life, and I love growing up. Where I grew up in Brantford and the time I grew up was quite bad. It was hard. I mean, you still have, mean kids are mean, whatnot. But I feel like
In
we
different
did
ways now, right? Because social media, we didn't have social media. Now their younger generation deal with FOMO, pressure of not being included. They can see it on social media. And then when there's hate done, it's done directly, not just to even kids. I mean, adults are behaving badly,
right.
just going after people in really mean ways on social media. We didn't have social media. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't even have pagers, and any of that stuff growing up, right?
I mean,
So
I had a pager as an adult for
as
work.
we got to an
My,
adult and we got into
my
where we
proud
worked at
adult.
Bell, we got
Yeah,
pagers, cell
yeah.
phones, but we used calling cards in the beginning, right?
Oh my
In the
gosh, the
beginning.
calling cards. Yep, for sure. And we didn't have the instant gratification when it came to photos. We had camera. I always had a camera. Always had camera my whole
Yeah,
life.
me too. I was a big camera taker too.
Yeah, and it's like the best part. Well, it's funny, especially if someone took your camera, took pictures on it, and it was a big surprise when you went to pick up your pictures. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
because
where did?
remember the disposable cameras. That's what were really big, right? All the
Yeah,
disposable camera. We took selfies and we couldn't even see, and our selfies came out good too.
and you know what? It was so easy to photobomb. Way
Uh-huh.
easier to photobomb pictures when you're traveling and out and about because they wouldn't know until they got the pictures developed. Like, who is this person behind me?
And those people in those booths that when the developers, they went through everybody's pictures so they could see and laugh at things, right?
Of
There
course.
were always some creepy people that worked in there too. They'd like when we'd go and pick up our pictures and like smiling at you when you're picking it up. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
you were looking at my pictures, you
And
know.
that lasted all through my 20s. I'm because I remember even in my 20s in Southern California being at a party and someone grabbed a hold of my camera and started taking very inappropriate pictures. And I didn't realize until I got them developed. And I was pissed. I was like,
Like body parts kind of pictures. Gross.
yeah. I was so pissed. And then everyone's trying to blame it on someone else. I'm like, listen, this is disgusting. I was pissed. I couldn't believe it. But they had no control. They took your camera, they
Yeah.
had took the pictures. Once
And
it's
you
taken,
can't see what's on there. You have to take it and get it developed. It's so different. I
yeah,
remember though in school taking Photoshop. Have you ever taken Photoshop and then you'd have to develop your own film?
no,
Yeah,
I never did that. No.
I did. You'd have you would actually get the Quaker Oats box and you put your own camera. Yeah, and that was a good experience. But I always did love taking pictures. Sue and you and I in the earlier days when digital cameras finally came out, right? The Canon camera had the digital, and we would all go out.
Oh
I was
yeah,
always the picture
love the
taker.
pictures. Oh,
Yeah,
see,
we
no,
have so
I've
many pictures of us all hanging out, right?
gosh, we'll have to go through my
Oh my
photo
God, I have
awesome photo,
boxes.
and then I put them in albums. Like I've
Yeah,
so
I've
many
got boxes,
albums.
boxes, like photo boxes where you just go through them. Yeah. Anyway, but I was definitely a picture person. What about pop culture and like concerts and stuff? Do you remember what your first concert was?
Yeah. So aside from cameras, I always had to have a boom box that had, the record player. Had I think I even had one that had an 8 track and the little.
Mixtape.
Yep, and every Sunday listen to Casey Kasem and the countdown. I record all the songs and oh my God, but yeah, I was a huge music that came from my parents. A little kid, they'd always play music and I'd fall asleep listening to the Eagles and Neil Diamond and all that. But my room was covered in posters, but my first concert I ever went to was Ryan Adams at New Haven. I think it was like 1982. That was the first one Mom like dropped me off with my
Summer
girlfriend.
of '69. That song, I love that
Oh
song.
my God, that I call that tape cassette because I played it until it like fell apart.
Yeah.
That was like my favorite. So, what about you? What was your first concert?
I Gosh, I'm trying to think my first ever concert is ridiculously and almost embarrassing. I was still in Hawaii. I was a tweener. I wasn't quite a teen. My sister Nancy had biggest crush of this guy Rex Smith, and he had a concert at the Daiei Mall. I know if Marty and Jennings are listening to this, they could appreciate this and laugh. She had such a crush on this guy, and I forget what the movie he was in, but he decided he was going to go on this little mini concert. So my first experience was going to the mall and seeing this guy play. That's my first recollection. But as I got, in my teenage years, we moved to California, and the Day on the Green in San Francisco, that's going way back. They would have a bunch of rock bands, but
Fun.
I I recall listening to it was Bon Jovi opening up for the Scorpions. Like I was a rocker
Yeah. That's
band
awesome.
girl. You know,
Yeah.
Y&T is a local band out here. Jeez, I'm trying to think of. I loved Lenny Kravitz. I can't tell you how many times I've seen Lenny Kravitz.
I saw him in
Multiple
Mountain
times.
View. I think I saw him
Yeah,
in Mountain View one time.
I
Whatever
did multiple.
that concert is.
Yeah, multiple times in San Francisco. He would come.
Did you ever see Billy Idol? Because I saw him like so.
Billy Idol, no.
So
Was he good?
yeah, one time in high school, it was probably the first time the Colts opened up. And again, New Haven Coliseum, total dive Coliseum in New Haven, next town over. Our friend Patrick picked my best friend and I up, and we were all hoochied out in like short leather skirts and like just black, and just we just wanted to fit in. And he drove us in his Saab, and we had so much fun. The Colt opened up for Billy Idol. That was one of the first times, but then I've seen him a bunch since. That was awesome.
No, yeah. I never got to see AC/DC. I would have loved to have seen them. Have you seen them? They're iconic, right? I did see Prince,
Yes.
and the time opened up for the bird.
Oh yeah.
And Prince was amazing. I'm so
Did
glad I got to see him.
did you see him in Oakland like not that long ago, or how long ago,
No,
or was
I
it?
saw him. It was a while ago. It was when Jace and I were dating.
Oh,
I
okay,
saw him, and it was in San Francisco.
okay, because I saw him in Oakland. I think Sheila E. performed, but no,
I
I'm
think
glad.
Sheila E. did come out on stage too. She wasn't. She performed a little segment, but yeah, this was after his crazy time. I will never forget that concert. It was really a good concert.
We loved Purple Rain growing up. I mean, I'd have my friends come to the basement. We'd dance the whole movie. It was freaking awesome. Yeah.
My other favorite rock band is
Yep.
Van Halen was like, and I also love the Cars. The Cars
Did
were
you see
great
Van
too.
Halen?
Yes, we did. Yes.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many. I've seen so many concerts that I'm trying to remember if I were to name them all, but there's so many concerts. I mean, first of all, Dan the Green was back in the days, I was really young teenager. My sister Nancy did most of those, and she was not supposed to go, and she snuck and went. It was, we lived in a small town called Vacaville, and it was in San Francisco. Dan the Green.
Why wasn't she supposed to go?
Oh, because she was a young teen. And think about it. We lived in like a country town, Vacaville, and that's like an hour or so drive. And back then, our parents were really strict and protected.
She
You're not
would.
going to go to, she went with some friends and they drove to San Francisco secretly to go to Day on the Green.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
that is
pain.
hard. And city, right? Think about it's a big city. So,
Yeah, crossing the bridge and everything.
yeah. So no, those are nostalgic days that were very fun. We survived it. My dad was a cop, so I was afraid of him. But I had to be smart about how I snuck out the house or whatever, right?
Yeah, how did you get away with having fun with your dad being a cop?
Yeah. Actually, being half Japanese, I have friends that were half Japanese, and I'd say, I'm staying at so and so's house, and I know her mama. Oh, great. My mom and her little Japanese accent. Oh, I like her law. Okay, no problem. So we would go and we would hang out, but her parents were not strict. And so, or we would sneak out her window, and then she would steal her father's truck, and she didn't have a license yet, and we would drive it. Crazy, right?
We My mom was super strict for whatever reason. I was her firstborn daughter. Even though I was a straight A student, I got treated not that way. And so I would do a lot of sleepovers. And one of them was my friend Julie's. Her mom's half Taiwanese and her dad's German. And we didn't even have to sneak out. It's like, we're leaving later. And she had nothing to say.
Her parents were not strict then.
No, and her mom just had no control over us anyways. She tried to yell at us and tell us we couldn't do stuff, and I'd sit there in the corner and
Because your
do
mom was strict, and so you would never talk that way to your mom.
no. And then all the other friends' parents were super chill, and I mean, we weren't doing anything wrong. We were just driving around the woods,
Yeah,
drinking
I
moonshine
know. Drinking moonshine? Really? Seriously? Moonshine?
sometimes. I know we've
What?
no. I mean, it's disgusting. No, we were wine
But
coolers,
that's pretty strong. Oh, the wine cooler,
like the wine.
California wine coolers, and Seagrams,
Yes.
and
Do you remember when they came in a 2-liter bottle?
my god, no, I don't remember them being I always remember them being just the smaller bottles.
We used to get them in a 2 liter, like a big soda bottle, wine coolers. No joke. They were I mean, obviously they don't make those anymore,
What
but
was it? Bloomsbury Farm. Remember that Bloomsbury Farm wine, the wine? We would pull up and to like a 7-Eleven and we'd find a guy that would be willing to buy for us. And we'd pay them a little extra. And my mom would kill me if she heard the story.
oh, I know
Thank God she's not into technology. But we used to,
my mom will end up hearing this. And my mom's friends will be like, "Did you hear? She doesn't talk about her days drinking moonshine."
oh my God, Sue. No. But we survived it, right? No seatbelts, unfiltered water,
Oh,
high
thank God.
carb, McDonald's,
Yeah.
Hostess cupcakes, you name it.
Let me
We
ask
survived
you,
all that stuff.
what was your go-to McDonald's order?
Oh my God, I love the 2 cheeseburgers and well, so first of all, I could eat anything and it not go to my waist back in the day. But I would do 2 cheeseburgers, French fry, plus a Big Mac.
What?
Sometimes I would include because I love fish sandwiches. I love the McFish or whatever they called it,
Yeah.
with extra lettuce.
Okay.
Those were my go-tos, but most of the time it would be 2 cheeseburgers and a fry. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Super size me, baby. Super
But
size me.
no, there was no such thing. Remember, and the fries were like this big, like
Yeah,
a little
teeny in a little package.
bag, little bag. So I did not like, well, how do I say this? I like hamburgers plain with ketchup. Okay.
No
And
pickles and no onions.
no,
I
ugh.
love it.
So no mustard, no nothing. And so here's the
Just
problem.
ketchup.
You try to order that at a McDonald's or a Burger King, guess what? It's taken in half hour and no one wanted to wait for me. So as a kid, I ended up eating a million fish sandwiches. Like that was the only thing I could eat. And I can't even imagine how disgusting they are. But I loved them and that's all I
From
ate.
McDonald's, the fish sandwich too. I love the fish sandwich. I love the tartar sauce.
No, and I loved how crunchy it was. But no, that's the only thing anyone would allow me to eat because nobody was willing to wait while they made my special plain
Oh
ham.
my God. Because they pre-made a bunch of them, and then that means, oh, we got to go back and
Now,
well, no.
no, they had to make it special for
Yes,
me
exactly.
because I didn't want all the shit on them. And so, yeah, no, so I ended up defaulting to the fish. Thank God I liked it. And I have had a lot of fish, McDonald's fish sandwiches in my belly for sure.
I can't tell you how many times we did the whole run to McDonald's because McDonald's was the place to go.
Yeah. But
But we
we,
ate that shit and we survived.
yeah, we had, okay, so in our town, tiny town, and every Friday we go to the movie theater. And this movie theater was enormous, just one huge movie theater. And parents would drop us off at the movies. And I would say half the time we saw the movie, half the time we walked down to, we have a Friendly's restaurant. It's like a diner with ice cream and French fries. And we would just hang out with our friends and go to Friendly's, or we would get in someone's car and then end up at Friendly's and we get picked up at Friendly's later on. But one of the funniest movie theater stories, I hate scary movies. But it was like one of the Friday the 13th were playing.
Yeah.
Probably like 400 kids in this movie theater. And I'll never forget the scenes. We all were screaming bloody murder at the top of our lungs, like all 400 kids, the whole entire movie. I've never been to a movie theater like that ever did that ever again. It was
No,
just
I remember Friday the 13th. I remember the scary movies where um there was Friday the 13th and what was it?
Jason is a Friday the 13th, right? With the
Yeah,
mask.
Jason's Friday 13th. And then what was the one with Freddy Krueger in it?
Oh my God. That one.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh,
Nightmare on
right.
Elm
That one
Street.
too.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember I just went to be tough and cool, but I've never been a scary movie person. I don't like scary. I did it to be cool with all my friends back
Oh,
then, right? You just kind of toughed it out, right? Because
that's why we're
everybody wanted to go.
no,
Yeah.
that's why we screaming with our hands covered, bloody murder, like legit screaming scared the hell out of me. And it's so funny. We have all these little things in common that I didn't even realize.
Yeah, we're just chatting about our childhood and all the things we went through. And like it's kind of fun to go back and look at the things that, we did as kids. My dad, he would never let me do gymnastics. I really wanted to do gymnastics. And my best friend,
Yeah.
her father was a coach for gymnastics. So whenever I go to her house, he would help me with my back handspring and like other things, but I could not dare go to gymnastics. So my dad was a big bowler. So we bowled.
So
So
fun.
I bowled in tournaments and stuff like that. But the closest to gymnastics was he put me in one of a karate class. So we had Sensei Foley. He was a military guy that my dad knew, and he also knew gymnastics. So my dad was luring us in, oh, Sensei Foley knows how to do gymnastics. But really, it was karate, right? And Kodokan karate. It was a mix of jujitsu, aikido, kung fu, karate, and judo. It was all 5 different forms. And my sisters all did karate. And I think that's something that if kids don't have confidence to be put in karate is the best way to build your confidence.
I
It's good
agree.
mentally, physically, flexibility, and confidence wise. And so I did put Josh as a young kid who was a shy boy
Yeah,
into
I
karate.
remember.
Yeah, it did help him, right?
Yeah, no. A lot of my friends put their kids in that or taekwondo, right? So it's kind of
Taekwondo which is yeah, Korean form of martial arts. Yeah. Yeah. What did you do when you were a kid? Did you play sports or anything like that?
so I did jazz dance when I was little
Okay.
in front of
I'm
people on
surprised
stage.
with that you were doing jazz dance with you're such a tomboy, right?
I know. I think my mom, this is like I was yeah, I
That's the
was
mom doing the mom thing, you know?
yeah, did it with my cousins. Then I did gymnastics when I was little, but it was hard. Can't remember why that didn't last. And then I tried soccer once, and my mom and my brother told me I was terrible, so I stopped that. Then I did softball. Yeah, we played.
Softball for sure. Yeah, softball.
We had Massey's Glass was our sponsor. So our little song was Massey's Glass will kick your ass.
Oh, that's funny.
That was that was a few seasons. That was fun. And then in high school, I did a couple years of field hockey, and that was it. So
Yeah, no,
dabbled in stuff.
yeah, I can say I did karate through to my younger 20s, and I also bowled quite a bit of my years as
I
well.
love bowling.
Yeah,
And my
bowling
mom
is
was in the league, and we would go while she was in
yeah,
the league. We would just go mess around, and
yeah.
I
I
had fun.
bowled in leagues and tournaments. Yeah, I
That's
haven't
fun.
bowled in quite a while. I still have my bowling ball though, so I
What
still have.
is it? A fun color?
It's a hot pink, and it's a pink hammer.
Ooh.
It's a pink hammer. It's fingertip drilled. So I would pull, fingertip. But with my nails now, it's kind of hard to do that. So
Yeah.
if I ever bowl again, I have to cut the nails down.
Oh my gosh, how funny. That's so.
So what do you think, all our childhood up to today, how that impacted and shaped us as women today? What would you say?
Well, I think, like I always joke around, if shit were to go south, I think the Gen Xers would be able to survive because remember, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have GPS, we didn't have maps. I mean, we were using Thomas guides to get point A to B and maps, full on maps. So the fact that we were able to people up at the airport or meet up with somebody without a cell phone. I mean, like, hello, we
Yeah,
survived.
we didn't have any GPS, right?
No, we didn't have any of the fancy stuff. I mean, okay, I didn't even use a computer until 19. I was at a Frontier Telecommunications,
Yeah,
and I
me too. I did Frontier as well. Did we not talk about this?
were you there?
Frontier AllNet? You did that
Yes.
too?
So I did. That's what I did with Nikki and a
I
bunch
did
of
it with
people.
Joelle and yeah, and
Yes,
John Groves and Fred
it was kind
Houston.
of like, yeah, it was kind of like the stop before SBC, Pac Bell. And I remember they had a computer that we all shared, and I didn't know how to use it. And then my manager was, "What is wrong with you? How did you do your resume on my word processor?" He's like, "How did you get through college?" I'm like, "On my little typewriter." Like it had like where you can type in one line and then hit enter and it would print. But he just looked at me and he's like, "I can't believe you have never used a computer." I'm like, "Oh, no, I have never used one." So it was like 96 is the first time I ever used a
That's
computer.
funny.
Yeah, but we
That's
survived,
in,
you know?
that. Yeah, totally. We survived it.
It's tough and it made it so like failure has never been an option for me. Like I've always been super independent, raised that way to be independent.
I
But I
think
think
as a
our time,
kid, as kids, we were told go get a job or go do this or go do that. You just did it. There's no question about it. And I think in some ways, today's world, the technology is good and bad because it does prevent younger generation to be more social and getting out there and
right,
speaking to people face to face. And
right.
my son actually learned that experience because his dad said, you need to get a job in the summer before college. I want to go get applications. And my son told me this actually. He goes, Mom, he goes, I actually walked in with an application. I spoke to the manager and she hired me on the spot. And she told me later, the reason why I hired you was you came in, you didn't do it online. You came in face to face. You gave me the application. You took the interview right away with me. I liked who you were, the confidence, and the fact that you came in and spoke to me. That's why I gave you the job.
Wow,
And so that's what he shared with me. I said,
that's
see,
awesome.
see what it talking about the generations, right?
Right? No, listen, it is so crazy. It's so wild. One time I worked at this, a bunch of my friends worked at this Richland. It's like a automotive in the back, Dickies in the front, candy over here, sewing. I mean, it had everything, all the crap. And lot of my high school friends, it was like one of our first jobs. And I remember when we started Rock and Jump and we had to hire like 70 teenagers and they would not show up. They'd be late. It was like driving me crazy. And I said to my mom, I said, Mom, how was I as a kid, as a employee, as a kid working when I was younger? He's like, let me put it to you this way. He told me one night she drove up to the house. There was a blizzard, like just snow blizzard, snowstorm like no other. She was coming home from work. And I was at the door ready to go to work. And my mom's, what are you doing? Like, I'm going to work. She's like, no, you're not. The roads, you can't even drive. Everything's shut down. You're not going to work. I mean, that just put it in perspective what type of employee I was. I was
Yeah,
not,
generational, the way you think. Yeah.
yeah, no,
Loyalty, showing up and being responsible, right? Not that the generation today isn't responsible. They just don't have the same mentality as we did growing up. We
right.
just get it done. Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
I
My
have to,
dad taught me that.
did you ever babysit when you were a kid?
Yes. Sometimes where your parents like volunteered you without you knowing to like a neighbor.
Because we lived in a small condo complex. And if the neighbor got a hold of me on the phone, it was a snow day, right? Snow day, I want to have fun. It's a day off from school. I want to have fun with my friends. So I would always say no. And then if my mom or my stepfather got the call, my mom, I should say, if they intercepted the call, they would be like, she'd love to. And I would get pissed. This is my day off. I don't want to babysit bratty kids. Like, are you kidding me? And the fact that we were 13 babysitting, you see the memes, it's no joke, babies and like 2 year olds and 3 year olds, and I'm 13 and I'm responsible for these kids all
Yes.
night long. How
Yeah.
did that even
I
happen?
remember doing that. I remember being 13 and doing that. And then today's 13-year-old,
They
probably
could
not.
hear themselves.
Yeah, I wondered. I'm not saying all 13-year-olds, right?
No,
Every kid's different, but in general,
yeah.
they're just not mentally mature enough to be because they're going to be distracted by technology.
Well, yeah, for sure. So no, we didn't have that distraction, So oh, so babysitting. But you know what? It taught me work ethic and sometimes I liked it, sometimes I didn't. It was, I love the money part of it, although we were probably getting paid pennies what we get paid
Yeah,
now.
$2 an hour or something like that. Some ridiculous $1.50 an hour or whatever it was. That was a lot though back then,
Yeah, for sure.
right?
Yeah,
Today's babysitter probably gets 20 bucks, 25 bucks an hour at least, at
definitely, yeah,
least.
sure.
And my son's getting paid like I think it's like 20 bucks an hour right now.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh. Is that the minimum wage in
yes,
California? I mean, I knew it went up.
yeah, totally. Yeah.
Wow.
I
That's
know
not,
in Texas, isn't it like $7.50 or something like that?
no,
I think
I
my
don't
I
think it's
think
that.
it was because I think my nephews were saying it just because of this cost of living, right? Cost of
Oh
living.
yeah, it's different all over. And I remember Rock and it was not $20 an hour at Rock and Jump in 2011. I promise you
No,
that.
exactly. It's different. Yeah, like $9 probably.
Let's see, what's Texas minimum? Let's see. We'll find out what the minimum wage is. Yeah, no, I think, what about you? Because I really do think you were raised to be independent. And I think that's gone through my whole life. You know what I mean? Played a part my whole life up until now, which isn't a bad thing, I
Yeah.
don't think. What about you? Oh my
Well,
God, you're right, Tone.
that
Seven
was it. Yep.
twenty-five an hour.
Holy crap.
Well, we don't have to pay $10 for gas either.
Yeah. And plus the taxes are different too, right?
No state income tax. Yeah, so they're not getting state tax. They're
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
okay,
Totally.
interesting. Okay, you're wow.
But so for me, what was the question again? Because we got distracted by
What
that one.
do you feel? Well, same one you asked me. Back at you as far as like, how are you today? Like, how are you shaped?
Well, I gotta say, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, right? So I watched, she was always a hard worker. She kept the household clean, kids fed, everything. But I got her hard work mentality around the household, cooked all the time. And my dad was always working. He was in the military, but he was working multiple jobs. He'd get home from work and he'd go off and work another job, either driving a taxi or working at a bowling alley, right? And I just remember my dad was always on time, always early. He just took care of stuff. He was very loyal as well. And I just watched my dad. Dad was a hard ass because, he's a military cop and he was tough on us. He hunted and fished and he had no boys. So we went hunting and fishing with dad. So
Right.
a lot of the stuff that my dad has always taught us to be tough and growing up, and he was very strict. Like I couldn't go to any football games. I couldn't go to any dances. I could not do a lot of stuff. So everything I had done to get out would be if I stayed a night at a friend's house. Otherwise, I couldn't. I was left out all of it. So I would probably die of social media if I would see all my friends out and about and I couldn't go. So I'm
Yeah.
glad we didn't have social media.
Yeah.
But I would say, I am stronger. I am a doer. I want to get something done. I know I have to do it myself. And then also, I survived a couple of divorces, right? Being a single mom in the Bay Area, no alimony, no child support.
Well, a young single mom too.
Yeah, and a very young single mom, and having to just get it done, right? If I didn't get it done, I wouldn't be able to take care of me and my little family, you know? So I think the shaping of me growing up, my dad and mom, how they had given me these kind of foundation has shaped me to be who I am today. And then all the things that we've gone through as we become how do you handle those things as you're proceeding in life? And for me, it's like next, what's next? My mentality is what's next instead of why me.
Yeah, and I think my mom was my mom and dad wrapped in one because she got a home loan in the 70s when they weren't giving them to women, put herself through nursing school because she was a stay-at-home mom up until the
She's a
divorce.
very good role model for you.
Yeah, and she's even though she was strict as hell, yeah, she apologizes now. Yeah, I kind of made her feel bad one time in college, post high school when we went to Bermuda. I made her feel bad that she was so hard on me and not my brother, and she just chalked it up. I
You're
was the
the oldest, right? So she was
first.
worried about your
Oh
future.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
wanted to
the
make sure everything was wanted to make sure everything was perfect and didn't know what she was doing. So of course I cut her slack. I love her. And yeah, she was a good role model for me. And I'm so blessed to have her still, and we're super close. I think like Hank has brought us closer together these past few years. She just is obsessed with him and gives us excuse to like communicate and whatnot. Yeah, for sure. I think the combination of growing up in the time we did with what we had to deal with or what we didn't have to deal with, has shaped us. And yeah, it's just followed through my whole life. She's independent. So I know that ex-husband, my father, he did not like the fact that she was independent and he didn't like the fact that I was independent.
because they're not used to seeing that in women in that era. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got it from her. And I know he didn't care for that for either of us. And so that was kind of caused some issues for sure.
I remember that my mom finally ended up getting a job. My dad didn't want her working, and she stayed home. And as us kids got older, she went and actually got a job. She wanted to
Yeah.
claim her independence, right? And
Yeah.
she did, and good for her, right? My mom it came in as a immigrant, and she got her national citizenship. She learned her English, she got citizenship, and she started eventually working, and if that gets her over a fence, which I watched as a child, sitting back watching that. My mom did that, proud of that for
Yeah.
her.
Of course.
And my dad was kind of old school. The woman stays home, and the father goes off to work, right? But he evolved over time, and he had three girls. God punished him with three girls. I don't know, punished him or tested him, right? Boy, did he ever get tested by three women. And all three of us were strong women. But I do want to do a little fun, roundup of truth. We can go back and forth of red lips and don't give a damn attitude and self-care kind of a way. Everybody deserve access to your peace or no, not everybody deserves it, right?
Definitely
So
not.
you could be a work in progress and still be a powerful woman. And I think we covered a lot today about how we are as individual women. I am proud myself of the accomplishments that I've gone through. I've gone through ups and downs, but I feel as a woman today, based on all the way I was raised and all the obstacles and adversities I've overcome, It's shaped who I am today. And today I am a woman that I own my peace. I don't surround myself with just anybody. I'm careful with who's in my circle, and I believe I deserve the best. And I think Sue, you probably can elaborate a little bit more on you, but I think you kind of feel the same way.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been through some crazy shit that most people don't realize because they see me now. I'm retired, living my best life, and they just make a lot of assumptions. And then when I tell them some stories, I almost see they don't believe me, which I'm not lying. There'll be episodes on it. But I look back at the stuff that I've gone through ever since I was even a little kid, starting off with a divorced family. That was tough. But I was never a martyr, never a victim
Can't
about it.
be where you're at. You can't be.
Survivor. And so going through everything I've gone through my entire life is, I wouldn't change any of it because it's made me who I am today. And I love the person I am today. And I love being able to be, after all my hard work is paid off, now I can give back and I can help out with the nonprofit with IEP and, can support people and causes. And, that makes me feel good too. So, um,
So, just kind of spinning off of what you said, as we wrap this up, we're going to do segments where I will interview you, you and Cheese will interview me,
right,
and then we will interview Cheese, right? And it's not boast about who we are as individuals. It's so that people can get to know who we are. That each of us individually, like you said, have gone through certain struggles, certain things, and how did we overcome some of these things? What were these challenges? Because some of them are in all individually, each of us are different types of struggles that,
right.
and then some very relatable that I think we could be vulnerable, we could share it, and people can hear it because it might be somebody out there is going through the same type of struggle that might be able to like get some benefit from it, right?
Well, that's the goal, right? Is to share with the people at our table, who want to be at our table, who want to be involved and listen and supportive. And yeah, I mean, the goal, I love sharing stories to help other people, to be able to mentor. I feel like I've been able to mentor a lot of young women over the past, decade. And I look back, I'm like, I wish my 25-year-old self had like a 50-year-old woman to mentor me,
Yeah,
and
that's true for sure. Because we are in our 20s, are very vulnerable and very we just don't know. We don't know.
right, right,
So if there was a woman, it'll always be that way, right? But I think today with social media and all the content that's out in the world, people can look it up and get
right,
advice, right? And
right.
then we got AI now, Chat GPT. Let's ask Chat. If I don't know it, let's ask Chat, right? So
But it's sad though, because yes, we have
that's
that.
not real life stuff.
Don't have
That's not,
the personal connection
yeah,
to
exactly.
somebody who can sit there and have a conversation. I don't know about you, but I love sitting with old people and hearing their stories.
I love it.
I could listen
Speaking
all
of that, we're going to be doing an interview on the Sassy Senior Women
right.
with Carrie, right? That's going to be freaking cute to have
Yep.
sassy senior women just throwing their dish at us, telling us all the stuff they've done.
Yep.
I do love, I do love speaking with senior women, and because they know more than we know, and they've been through more,
Yeah.
and I just can't wait to do that one. So as we wrap it up, Sue, do you want to tee up our like, share, follow?
Yeah. Thank you all for listening. And we really do appreciate any support. We have our full episodes on YouTube and Spotify. And then we have a bunch of little fun clips on all the others: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. Yeah. Uh, Make sure to like, share, follow, tell your friends, guys too. Guys are welcome. And I do have a girl
Girl
dad,
dad,
like brain dead. I've been up since 5:30. Girl dad, yes, that does follow us and supports us and likes all our stuff. So I think I might have to.
that's awesome.
So yeah,
We love it. We got a small following, but you know what?
or somewhere.
I feel Suze and I think Sue, we all talked about this podcast. These podcasts that we do are very therapeutic.
Mhm.
I feel
Yeah.
like we get something out of it, right? And if it helps just one person or somebody chimes in and likes it, we did our job.
Well, heck, you
But
know
we
what? I
would
learned.
love more followers, of course.
Yeah, but I've known you for almost 30 years, and I learned that like we're both tomboys. We both like rock music. We both, like the things we like and don't like. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know we
We
have.
would have been friends.
Yeah, we totally would have been. We would have
when we
beaten
were
up.
younger. Can you imagine? Wouldn't that be funny if AI could create us as little kids and we all met each other? You mean cheese?
Yeah, it would be comical.
It would be so funny. Oh my God. Well, everybody, thanks again for all your time. And we hope that our podcasts that we're doing are helpful or you're enjoying them. And we would love for you to also give us ideas. And if you're out there and you have something that you would like to share, we would like to invite you to the table as well.
Absolutely easy to do.
All right, guys.
My
Thank you
friend.
so much. Bye.
Bye.